JT, it's absolutely fantastic to have you here. We've worked for many, many years in your role at iLift Media, but literally tell us a little bit more about how you got here and what you actually do.
So I first joined iLift Media back in 2012. Stayed there for 4 years. It was iLift Media, then it changed into Local World, and then Trinity Mirror bought us out. Then I had a few years away and then came back to iLift Media in 2021. So I've been there, rejoined, so probably 10 years in total. And I am responsible for looking after the awards and events from a commercial viewpoint across our portfolio.
So you must love it. You must absolutely love it as a place to work for.
I think it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. I get to work with this incredible journalists, which is wonderful, but also getting involved in the awards and the events. So obviously we've got a portfolio of about 18 awards at the moment, always looking at different awards. So in Cambridge, we've got the Science and Tech Awards, we've got Business Awards, we've got the Velvet Magazine Food and Drink Awards. We started with Velvet Food and Drink Awards, and then we took them to West Norfolk, down to Kent, taking them to the New Forest. So that's quite nice. So we've got some awards in our portfolio that are very transferable and very popular indeed.
So just asking, JT, you talked about a whole range of different geographical spaces then. What's your coverage? That sounded huge.
So at the moment, it's just increased, but at the moment we are covering, we go up to the Midlands, we go to Suffolk, we go to West Norfolk, Cambridge, Suffolk, Hertfordshire, Bishop Stortford. Then we go down to Kent as well, and we've got some joint venture activity in Newbury, Stratford, and New Milton, which is the New Forest area. And we've just acquired Tyndall Newspapers, who I believe are the Isle of Man, Wales, all over the place.
So a massive scope. And you do awards in all of those areas?
Yeah, I'm part of a team that helps to obviously deliver those awards. So working closely with the editorial teams and obviously the commercial teams to make them viable, both in terms of profitability, but as importantly in terms of engagement. And I think that's the key thing. You can't just run an awards department on purely P&L. It has to be there and it has to have some kind of impact. So for instance, locally, we've obviously, as I mentioned, the Velvet Magazine Food and Drink Awards, which we're hosting on the 8th of June, but also we do the Bury Free Press Community Awards, which again, totally different from food and drink, and then totally different to that, we do the West Suffolk Business Awards, which covers West Suffolk and the Bury Free Press circulation area. So no, it's fantastic. As I say, work with some wonderful people, not only internally, but also you get to meet lovely people like yourself who generously support the awards and really champion the awards for what they are, which is wonderful.
So from our perspective, you're in there with the razzle and the dazzle and everything else, and you do all of the events and the sparkles and the drinks and the tables and all those sorts of things. But primarily, you're looking at sponsorship and looking at bringing all this together. And as you say, it's not about the cash; it's about bringing together communities. What's the best bit?
The best bit, well, the most nervous bit is actually the gala final itself. So it sounds an awful thing to say, whilst everyone turns out going, it's going to be brilliant and everything like that, you want that to obviously go very successfully, which is great. And when it does, you can kind of relax and think, do you know what, that was okay. Or if there's issues, you can think, right, okay, how can we address that going forward? And that's why we do wash-up meetings with our sponsors, because so many good things come out of those wash-up meetings. But in terms of what I enjoy most, it's obviously dealing with clients in terms of getting the sponsorship in the first place, but also trying to work out what that client wants, what the sponsor wants, because sponsors do it for many different reasons. Again, it differs from if it's a food and drink awards, if it's community awards or business awards, but it's a case of actually understanding what that sponsor wants, trying to work with them, get them the right category to sponsor, the right category description, the right questions, criteria, things like that. And then from launch, it's about engaging with as many businesses as possible, because the success of awards is about the more interaction you get, the more nominations you get. And it's lovely to see over the last 4-5 years, the number of nominations have increased, but also the depth of and quality of those companies entering is fantastic, because at the end of the day, you need a strong set of companies to enter these awards. And also, you want different companies as well. You don't want the same old companies. It's great that, successful companies will re-enter, but it's meant to be the best of the best, the Business Excellence Awards. And you always want last year's winners to go up against, the new kid on the block, the new business or whatever. And as I say, it's engaging with startups through to large corporates, lots of people. It's just
So the energy of the awards is fantastic, and we've been doing it for a number of years, and we do sponsor it. So thank you for acknowledging that. One of the things for us is the actual benefit of seeing all of those new businesses come forward who actually have applied, because we can see the progression from them going through some of our services to actually developing from their early stage business into something that's actually really, really solid within the locality area. And that for us is the more important thing, is about making sure that us as a brand are understood by all of those small businesses out there. So we've talked about all of the good stuff. Any major bloopers in the past? Anything that's happened where you've gone, oh my goodness, on the night?
Yes. Yeah, there's always some challenges on the night. I can remember a couple of years ago we had a problem with the voiceovers, which suddenly then, for some reason, didn't quite cut in at the point they needed to cut in. So there were some challenges there. There's always something that goes wrong. Or I say go wrong. There's always issues on the night. But I think that's part of working with a great team, is the fact we can identify what is going wrong, and then we can tweak it and make the necessary arrangements. I'm also very fortunate with the Bury Free Press West Suffolk Business Awards. We've got some incredibly fantastic sponsors, and the lovely thing is, if there was a glaring error, they would happily sit down and go, listen, out of your control, or what are we going to do to kind of look at that going forward? And that's why, as I mentioned, the wash-up meetings. We've had so many good things that come out of the wash-up meetings where you go, this didn't work, can we look at this, or whatever. And a good example is last year's wash-up meeting, which we had over some pizza and a bottle of beer, was let's look at kind of changing up the host. So this year, we're delighted to announce that we've got Sean Williamson, many will know him as Barry from EastEnders, coming to do some karaoke, but he'll be presenting the awards. And we want to do things that are a little bit different and challenge the norm, make things a little bit different each year. So whilst it's great that we get many returning sponsors, we need to make sure that it's not the same old awards each time. So it's great to get different companies entering, but also it's about changing up the gala final itself and making it a bit more of a razzmatazz and everything like that. So we're changing the dining format this year as well. We're going to have a disco upstairs afterwards, casino tables. Really try and make it a proper celebration and keep as many people there as we all get thrown out at 1 o'clock in the morning. So
fantastic.
Yeah,
So
great.
karaoke.
Yep.
Casino nights.
Yes.
And lots of singing and dancing.
Hopefully.
Plenty of food.
Yes.
And what's the date?
The date is Friday the 9th of October.
Friday the 9th of October.
The good thing as well, so again, we're talking about working with our sponsors. So at a sponsors wash-up meeting 2 years ago, we decided that whilst the gala final was fantastic, to take guests to, it's very difficult to network at those type of functions. So we all decided it would be great to do a Meet the Finalist networking event. So we do this, and this year it's on the Thursday, the 1st of October. We do this up at Edmund's Restaurant at West Suffolk College. They're one of our sponsors, and we work with Edmund's Restaurant for our community awards, and also that they lay on the canapes and the drinks and everything at Edmund's Restaurant. So what we do is we invite all the sponsors and all the finalists to join us. So there'll be about 120, 140 people. And it's just 2 hours of really good, where literally sponsors will go up, speak to other finalists speak to each other. Really good engagement. This year, very generously sponsored by Green King, who it's great to get them on board for the first time and work with. But again, it's great. It's just adding a little bit extra and really kind of spreading that network locally, which is what the awards are all about. It can't just be about launching a May and a gala final in October. There's got to be so much more, and also make the necessary introductions. And it's great for the nominations to come in and for them to see who are sponsoring, what those businesses do in the local area to support local business.
And it raises brand and it raises opportunity. So if anybody wants to apply to either be part of the criteria for the awards, or if they want to be part of the sponsorship program, what do they have to do?
So it's very exciting. So we're launching on Friday the 15th of May. They're online nominations. So if they go to Suffolk News, it will then take you to, it will clearly show where the tab is there for the Bury Free Press West Suffolk Business Awards. Clicks through 13 categories to enter. And it clearly states the category criteria, and then you go through and it lists the questions, which is absolutely fab. And then you've got until the end of July to enter. After that, it's always good to kind of explain the judging process, because I think people sometimes don't quite understand the judging process. So therefore, we're very fortunate we have sponsors. Each sponsor will shortlist their own category to 4, and then those 4 will be scored, and then they will be sent to other judges who judge independently, and then the totals are all added up. So I think the lovely thing as well is, on the night, the judges and the sponsor of each category doesn't actually know who's won either.
And I would agree with that. As you go up there to open the envelope, who's the winner?
Which is a great way of doing it again. It adds a bit of credibility to the awards. Also, some of our judges do client visits to go and see more about the company or the person involved that's been nominated. Regarding sponsorship, yep, we've still got opportunities to get involved from a sponsorship perspective, and I'd welcome any conversation with any businesses who wish to get involved. The nice thing is, with our sponsorship of these business awards, that each sponsor has a sector exclusivity, because otherwise I feel it gets a little bit murky. But yeah, for any kind of sectors we haven't got covered, by all means, drop me a message and I'll be happy to send through details how to get involved with the business awards.
Absolutely superb, JT. Full of passion, full of energy, lots of words. I didn't do a lot of speaking, which is unusual for me. So an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated.
Cheers.